Let me be clear. If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time because Donald Trump cannot pardon you for a state court conviction. Do you hear me, ICE agents? Do you hear me, National Guard? Do you hear me, military? You're going to jail if you commit crimes in the city of Philadelphia. You will be accountable. The law applies to all of you. And I know that there are honest, decent, moral law enforcement officers out there by the bushel, including in ICE. This is not for you. This is for any one of your colleagues who thinks they are above the law.
The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous. The unprecedented thing is the idea that a local official can actually prosecute a federal official with absolute immunity. I've never seen anything like that. It would get tossed out by a judge. The precedent here is...
Shalom. Back with another video. So before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, to the apostles and elders of the great millstone who rule well. I like to give double honor. Shalom to the 144,000, to the hopeful elect. Shalom. We're here with a lesson I'm going to call Babylon Separated, or the separation of Babylon. So we see in this new clip, the mayor of Philadelphia said if any ICE agent coming into Philadelphia to start any BS, he's going to prosecute him. But we also seen J.D. Vance days before saying that no state official can prosecute a federal official. So what we're seeing here is a separation, a division, what I meant to say, a division in Babylon the Great, where the state officials are no longer in unison with the federal, where we're starting to see a divide being put in between the two, where the state want to run things their way and the federal want to run things theirs. Now, with the government at odds like this, I don't know what people in Babylon think is going to happen. You can't have the government bodies fighting amongst each other, especially in this kind of situation. How do you expect to get anything done? But we also know that this is the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, that Babylon be taken down really through this kind of situation where the people are going to rebel. And I guess you can put in that the smaller government is going to rebel against the larger government. We're seeing it happen right before our eyes, which we will know lead to Jacob's trouble and really all out chaos. So we're going to get started. This is Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to send peace on earth? ? And we know there was a red letter that showed this is Yahushua speaking, or who the word ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Suppose ye that I have come to send peace on earth? ? So he asking, you think I'm about to come send peace on earth? I tell you, nay, no, but rather division. And we're starting to see that division happen. We got a division between NATO and the United States. You got a division between the United States and the rest of the world. And we're starting to see a division between the United States federal government and the United States state government, to where they can't come to agreement on how ICE should be handled. Now, J.D. Vance said that ICE, being a federal agency, should be able to do whatever the hell they want within a state. But as we just seen, the Philadelphia mayor said, no, you come to my state and you want to act a fool, we're going to lock you up and we're going to prosecute you. Because that immunity that you think you have, you don't have it. And that's showing you a division between the two. That shows you a separation of state and federal on how they're thinking. They're no longer one body, one mind. They're now becoming two separate entities, even more so than they used to be. So before I go, I want to get that word division. What was that? Luke 20. We're starting to see not only the nations hating the whore, but the citizens of the whore hating the whore as well, which is crazy to think about. Because you would think a lot of these people would be down with whatever Trump is down for, but they're really just tired of his shit. See, like I told you, it's red letters, Yahushua speaking. Don't get that word division. Because America is no longer United States of America. They're very much so divided. And division is Strong's G 1257.
Strong's G 1267.
67.
Diomedes mas. Diomedes mas.
Diomedes mas. A pardon, a distribution, a disunion, a decision. Yeah, a disunion. And we're starting to see that disunion of the United States. They're no longer being united under one banner. They're starting to turn on each other. Now let's get that in another translation, just to see. Gonna go to the AMP. Do you suppose that I came to grant peace on earth? No, I tell you, but rather division between believers and unbelievers. Not on that. Let's see. Everything else still about the same. I like the CEV though. Do you think I came to bring peace on earth? No, indeed. I came to make people choose side. And we're starting to see these people choose side. Whether they want to follow after the federal government and allow ICE to do what they came to do, or whether they stick up for their state, stick up for their country, their beliefs, the freedoms that they thought they had, and whether they're going to fight back with them. Because Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai brought division upon Babylon the Great. We're going to go here. This is Isaiah 19:2. This is the division that he said he's going to bring. And we know Egypt is synonymous with Babylon the Great, which is synonymous with captivity. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight one against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. And that's the division that we're seeing going on here in Babylon. Slowly but surely, this thing is leaking to other states. I mean, toward the end of last year, we seen a lot of protests going on against Trump and the thing that he was doing. And now that ICE has shot that so-called white woman, it really got a lot of the white people up in arms because they feel like now we no longer have protection. Being white no longer can save us. So they're afraid. And we all know what happens when white people get afraid. They ready to fight. They ready to pick up their blessing the sword and put down whoever making them afraid. I mean, they done it to Jake. Over the years we was in captivity here. So you think they wouldn't do it to their own government? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that division, not just within Babylon the Great, within the people and the state government, but we're starting to see the state and the federal government be at odds as well. And we know this is going to tip over, going to get even worse because Jacob trouble has to come. The all-out chaos that will be in Jacob trouble, to where there's going to be sedition running through the streets. There's going to be people killing each other in the streets. Men afraid. People barely surviving. It's going to get rough out there. And this is just the start of it. Because with the state and the federal fighting each other, who's going to fund these states when it comes to proper maintenance or funding for their police or just anything else like that? This stuff is going to truly hit home coming soon, which is going to lead into the chaos that is Jacob's trouble. So I'm going to go here, 2nd Ezra 15, 16 to 18. For there shall be sedition among men. We know sedition is slacking. Let me get that. A conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority of a state or monarch. So we're seeing that sedition starting with government officials, which is going to bleed down into the people. And invading one another, and they shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And they're going to get to a point they're not going to regard the federal or state government or the local government. It's just going to be all out chaos. And we're starting to see the beginnings of that. A man shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able. For because of the pride of the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of how bad it's going to be here in Babylon and all over the world once Jacob's trouble truly kicks off. So you're seeing the federal and state government fight, which is going to lead into this chaos. Where these cities going to be like, we don't need no federal backing. You're going to have these ICE agents still in these cities doing their thing. The people going to be coming after them. The federal government coming to help ICE agents, and they're going to devolve into an all-out war. A war against the people of Babylon the Great. The people of Babylon versus their own military, the military versus their own citizen. And it's going to be all-out chaos. Along with just regular people fighting against each other. That's the big mashup that's going to be Jacob's trouble. And we know, as the scriptures say, any kingdom that rise up and fight against itself, it cannot stand. And we're watching the end of Babylon the Great right before our very eyes. Everything the scripture said would happen, we're watching it go down. Which we're going to end out in that scripture. This is Mark 3, 23 through 26. And he called unto them and said unto them in a parable, how can Satan cast out Satan? ? How can he do it? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And we're seeing Babylon the Great being divided against itself. Even more so now. And then all they're going to do is lead to its destruction. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. And like I said, we're seeing the end of Babylon the Great right before our very eyes. We're seeing the end to this wickedness. And it's all going to be started by its own people. Fighting against its own government. And all we got to do, those of us who are the hopeful elect, continue to stay prayed up, continue to do the things that the Lord have us doing, and hopefully we'll be chosen to be part of that elect. But that's all I had on that. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem and Shai. Shalom.